And let's turn our attention now back to the top story of the day, which is what the IT tribunal has said about the Bofors scandal, saying that kickbacks were paid to Win Chadha and to Ottavio Kotroki. For more on that, we're now being joined by Arun Jaitley, the leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha. And in a short while from now, we're also going to go across to Abhishek Singhvi to get his views on it. But Mr. Jaitley, if I can just start with you now. Essentially, the IT tribunal is talking about income tax and saying that income tax has to be paid. But I guess the important part of this particular judgment is that it establishes that kickbacks were in fact paid. Kickbacks were paid to Win Chadha and Ottavio Kotroki.
You see, the argument of the recipients and their political friends till date has been that no kickbacks or bribes have been received. The present government implicitly supported that argument. Today, you have an order of a revenue authority, and the highest amongst the revenue appellate authorities is the ITAT, which says, on these kickbacks / bribes that people have received or commissions that people have received, tax is payable. Now, to assert that tax is payable, they go into the factor that how the whole arrangement took place, how the condition of there being no middleman was violated, how different people were paid, how in the first instance only Mr. Win Chadha and his company, Svenska, were the agents, and then another company called Anatronic was created. Thereafter, a company called AE Services was created, which was controlled by Mr. Kotrochi. And then payments were made to Anatronic, payments were made to, were paid to Mr. Win Chadha's company abroad, and also AE Services. These payments have been made. And these payments, even though they are illegal, and they rely on various international evidence received from various agencies, and then they say tax is payable on these payments.
Now, you have to contrast what the IT tribunal is saying with what the CBI has been saying, which in a sense has been struggling to or has been unable to find any evidence to link all this together. So that really leads to some pretty obvious questions being asked.
Well, let me tell you, the CBI case has been blow hot, blow cold. From 1987 to 1990, it was a Congress government, so CBI did not even register an FIR. 10 months of Mr. VP Singh's government, the CBI registered an FIR, the CBI sent a letter rogatory, the CBI got the accounts frozen. Then you again had the Congress governments or Congress-supported governments right till United Front. They said, they gave an aid memoir to the Swiss authorities, please don't investigate the case. They were not interested in pursuing it. Then came the NDA government, and the question is asked to us, what did you do? Well, we completed the investigation. We filed the charge sheet. We started the extradition proceedings. We started fighting a battle both in Indian courts and in international courts. By the time our government was over, because legal procedures are long, you had an erroneous order of Delhi High Court, the fifth in a row. Earlier four were set aside by the higher courts. The Supreme Court, you had an erroneous order, and suddenly the Congress government comes and they say, let's not appeal against it and give a burial to the whole case. Then you go and defreeze the account and give Mr. Kotrochi's money back to him. And now you are confronted with a tax order which unearths the whole thing. It's a discovery of truth by default, as I called it, because you say, well, Mr. Win Chadha's assessment is incorrect, or his own return is incorrect. These kickbacks have to be added to his income, even though they were received abroad. In the process of doing that, you mention in the recital the entire investigation, which also refers to Mr. Kotrochi having received money in the name of AE Investments, that money having been transferred to Kolbar Investments. The whole trail is mentioned.
Right. Mr. Jaitley, now tomorrow, of course, is going to be a very interesting day because the Delhi trial court is going to be passing an order. It's reserved its order, and that's on a CBI plea which says pursuing this entire matter is unjustified because we've never been able to bring Kotroki to justice out here. We haven't been able to extradite it. So the CBI has put forward a plea saying we should not pursue this matter any further. It's a closure appeal, and a verdict on that is going to be announced tomorrow. So it's going to be an interesting day.
Well, I have not the least doubt that the conduct of the CBI in getting the matter closed, not filing appeals against erroneous orders, defreezing the accounts, this is all an attitude which is influenced by, at the behest of their political masters. It's a fraudulent exercise, and therefore it is completely vitiated. You can't have two limbs of the state. The investigative limb saying that there is no bribe or kickback paid, and the revenue limb saying, please pay your taxes on the kickbacks or the bribes which you have received.